Today's experience was sent to us by Sister Mia. Stay to the end to understand her experience. My name is Mia. I want to share something with you that changed my life forever. It's something I never thought I'd experience, but now I know it's something you have to hear. Please keep reading because this could save you from something terrible. I want to tell you the truth about what I saw, a place called hell, a real place, not just a word people use. I thought I was doing everything right. I loved God, went to church every Sunday, helped others, and tried to live by the rules. But there was always this feeling deep down like something wasn't quite right. I would ask myself, am I really doing what God wants? Or am I just trying to make people think I'm good? I was confused, but I didn't know what to do. One day, after a long day at work in the bank where I work, driving home I experienced a terrible accident that later changed everything. A car overspeeding to overtake me. I just realized my car tumbling to the roadside ditch. Everything went dark when I struggled to open my eyes. To my surprise, I saw a bright light enveloping me. I was already confused the more. I realized that I left the accident scene floated over the wreckage. In front of me stood a figure so bright, I couldn't see its face clearly, but I think it was an angel. Without saying anything, he reached out his hand and said, "Come with me." I didn't understand what was happening, but I knew I couldn't refuse. Suddenly, the world around us started to change. We didn't float upwards like I thought we would. Instead, we were falling into darkness. The light around us seemed to be swallowed up by the blackness, and my heart started to race. I was scared. I didn't know where we were going. Even though grieved in fear, I finally asked, "Where are you taking me to?" But there was no response. I had this awful feeling rise in my chest. Could we be heading to hell? But am I death? Several questions at once. I was falling, and the world around me blurred until I landed in front of something so massive, I couldn't even see the top. It was a huge gate like something from a dream, but it felt so real. There was a strange, heavy pressure around it, like something was pushing against it from the inside, trying to break free. The gate slowly started to creak open, and as it did, a blast of hot air hit me. It wasn't just the heat. It was something darker, something terrifying. I could hear screams, horrible, painful cries that sent chills down my spine. I looked around, and what I saw shocked me. The ground was covered in fire. Not just flames, but fire that seemed to burn with a life of its own. And there were people, no souls, screaming and crying in the fire. They couldn't escape, no matter how hard they tried. Some of them were clawing at the ground, trying to get out, but they couldn't. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. My voice felt frozen in my throat. The fire felt like it was closing in on me, and the fear I felt was unlike anything I had ever known. It was more than fear. It was terror. I turned to the figure beside me, a presence that felt powerful yet calm. He didn't comfort me. He didn't say anything. He just stood there, and somehow, his presence was the only thing keeping me from being burned alive. I looked up at him, shaking, and he spoke in a low, steady voice. "This place belongs to you." Those words hit me like a punch. How could he say that? I had served God my whole life. I had prayed, I had gone to church, I had helped others. I had followed all the rules, or at least I thought I had. "I've been your servant," I begged, my voice shaky, but he didn't respond right away. Then, in a way that felt deeper than just words, he spoke again. "You followed the rules, but your heart was far from me. You lived a life of show, not of love." His words cut through me. I had followed all the rules, but was that really enough? I had done all the right things on the outside, but was I truly close to God on the inside? Or had I just been pretending? I thought about my life. Yes, I had gone to church and helped others, but sometimes I had done those things just to look good to others. I wanted people to think I was a good Christian, but deep down I wasn't always living for God. I wasn't always thinking about what He wanted. Then the figure showed me something. It was like a vision, and I saw myself back in church. I was smiling, helping others just like I always did. But then something changed. I could see inside my own thoughts, and what I saw shocked me. I remembered the times I did things not because I truly wanted to help, but because I wanted people to think I was good. I wore clothes just to fit in, even though I didn't really like them. I did things I knew weren't right, just so I wouldn't stand out. I had been pretending. I wasn't living with a heart that truly loved God. I had been living to please others, to be liked, instead of living to please God. The figure spoke without words, this time quoting from the Bible. Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. 1 John 2 verse 15. I understood what he meant. I had been living for the approval of others all along. I cared more about what people thought of me than what God thought. I realized how much I had been trying to impress the world, instead of focusing on what truly mattered: God's love and His will for my life. I began to see how much I had been chasing after things that didn't really matter, like popularity, looking cool, or doing things just because everyone else was doing them. I wasn't living for God the way I should have been. I was living for the world, for things that would fade away, instead of living for the one thing that lasts forever: my relationship with God. That's when I truly understood the message that had been given to me. It wasn't about following rules or looking good on the outside. It was about having a real, genuine heart for God, loving Him and living for Him, not for the world. I had spent too much of my life trying to impress others, but what really mattered was living a life that honored God. As we walked deeper into that horrible place, the flames grew hotter and brighter. The heat was unbearable, and the screams of suffering filled the air, echoing all around us. It was hard to breathe, and the pain in the cries made my heart ache. We came to a group of people who were trapped in the fire. I could see their faces, twisted in agony, their bodies writhing in pain as they burned. The flames didn't seem to stop, and no matter how much they cried out for help, no one could save them. Then my eyes fell on someone I recognized. It was a famous medical doctor, but also a pastor, someone I had once admired. I used to listen to his teachings, and I thought he was so talented. But now his face was a picture of torment. His eyes wide with pain, and his mouth open in a scream that would haunt me forever. I could hear his cries for help, but they only echoed into the emptiness. There was no one to answer, no one to save him. I turned to the figure beside me, my voice trembling. Lord, why is he here? He was so talented, he helped many and preached to many. He had everything. Why is he in this place? And the figure revealed, but his words cut through me like a knife. He used his talent for fame and fortune. He lived for the applause of the world, not for my glory. He pretended to follow me, but his heart was far from me. He lived for himself, and now he is paying the price for that choice. I stood there, frozen, my mind racing. The pastor's screams echoed in my ears, and I felt a deep sadness and fear settle over me. I looked around and I saw more faces, more people suffering in the flames. Some of them were church leaders, people I had thought were good Christians, people who had led large church events or had big ministries. I had looked up to them, thinking they were truly following God. But now they were all in the same place, burning in agony. I felt sick as I looked at their faces, knowing they had all been in positions of power, but now they were trapped, suffering the consequences of their choices. I asked, Lord, why are they here? They led big ministries. They preached your word to so many people. How could this happen to them? And the figure revealed to me sorrowfully. They lived for themselves. They used my name to gain power to get what they wanted, but they didn't truly live for me. They wanted to be seen by others. They wanted to appear righteous, but their hearts were far from my will. They didn't live to serve me. They lived to serve their own desires. The weight of his words sank deep into my heart. It was like a heavy burden pressing down on me, and I felt like the air was thick with grief. I realized that these people, just like the famous pastor and a doctor, had lived for the wrong reasons. They had done things to impress others, to get attention, to build their own kingdoms, but they had ignored the most important thing: living for God with all their heart. I felt like I was being shown this for a reason. It was like a warning, a chance for me to change before it was too late. I knew now that I couldn't keep living the way I had been. I couldn't keep following the crowd and doing things just to look good or fit in. I needed to truly live for God, not for the world. I had to make a choice. I turned to the figure, my heart breaking. Lord, what should I do? How can I fix this? How can I avoid ending up like them? The figure looked at me with compassion, and his words were gentle, but they felt like a lifeline. Repent. Turn away from the ways of the world. Don't follow the world's patterns. Live for me and me alone. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Stop living for the approval of others and start living to serve me. Make me the center of your life. Only then will you be truly free. I felt the weight of those words in my heart. I wanted to change. I wanted to live for God. I fell to my knees, crying out in desperation, Please, Lord, forgive me. I've been living for the wrong things. I've been chasing after the wrong goals. I will change. I will live for you. Please help me. And then, in an instant, everything went still. The flames, the cries, the suffering, they were all gone. I found myself back in the accident scene. As paramedics struggled to revive me, my heart racing, and my mind still reeling from what I had seen. The images of hell were burned into my memory, and I knew deep down that this wasn't just some dream. It was real. It was a warning. I sat there for a long time, my heart heavy with the realization of how close I had come to losing everything. But now I had another chance. A chance to live for God, to truly love Him, not just with my actions but with my heart. I knew I couldn't waste that chance. I'm sharing this with you because I don't want you to end up where I almost did. Please don't wait. Don't keep putting it off. Share this message with others so they can hear the truth too. God bless you.